So today I want to talk about DeepSeek and more specifically the impact that it could have on the US economy and moreover on the overall economy of the world. So we are going to see mainly what DeepSeek is, why people are actually freaking out about it, why it is not challenging actually the status quo, and is there actually a risk of market crash? Because those two are not necessarily linked. Because here is driven by emotion and here is driven just by raw objective observation. And then I will give you some added advice, insight, let's say. So first of all, what is DeepSeek? And if you know already, you can skip it, but if you don't, let me explain. DeepSeek is just a model. Actually, DeepSeek is more the company, I believe, that have built this model. And they have, since this is actually not an AI company, this is a training company. So they have a bunch of GPUs laying around. And so as a side project, they decided on limited resources, they will try to actually build a model that is really performant, that can challenge OpenAI or the best model out there. So they try and they actually succeeded. And so that's mainly why people are freaking out. Because now you have this little model that is actually competing against everyone. So the reason people start freaking out is mainly because the idea that a small company like this with limited resources can build a model that challenge all the big infrastructure, all the big entity like OpenAI and so on, this makes people worry about all the money that they start spending on infrastructure. Because recently you may have heard that OpenAI received an investment of $500 billion to build new infrastructure. But this is going to be over 5 years, I believe. So they first only get 100 billion to build bigger infrastructure and so on. And this is linked to the fact that since Donald Trump is at the presidency, he wants actually to make sure that the US anchor his monopoly over AI in the entire world. And so they are making sure that they invest heavily on that, so they are the top leader on this subject. And so the reason people are freaking out is if a small company can actually build a model that is that good, why spending that much on infrastructure? And so that's the question that people are raising, which is legitimate. You may wonder that, but what people fail to understand is a model is very different from infrastructure, because DeepSeek may have found a way to train a model for cheaper and to be able to perform at lower cost. Perfect, that's fine. But what if you take that same model and you spend $1 billion on it instead of just 5 million? What kind of intelligence of result can you expect? That's the question that people should ask. And also, investing in infrastructure in a period where AI is exploding, the use case of AI are exploding, you need to understand that OpenAI, ChatGPT, and so on, in the world of AI, so you have AI as a whole. Understand that ChatGPT represents a sub-part of all there is to it, a very small part. So thinking that because this part is challenged by a Chinese company with actually, I believe it's kind of just missing the point here. AI is a lot bigger than that. So thinking that the FANG, the Apple, the Google, Meta, and so on are getting threatened by a small model is just a misunderstanding of what's actually going on. Now, so So my point is on the idea of the US built a supremacy not over AI. This is what the main thing that you need to understand. It is the US is building a supremacy over the infrastructure that they have around AI. And this is, over the long run, what will make the difference between the countries that are actually outperforming in this industry rather than the others. The other, if you lack power, you need to be more efficient. But as soon as you are more efficient, everybody else can grab what you take and use it with more powerful infrastructure and so do better than you. So that's kind of the thing that I believe we need to understand about the fact that, okay, that's just a model, and the infrastructure, the supremacy that the US economy, the US investment are doing well, and that all people are actually questioning whether or not this is a good idea. This is not the point. That's not the same thing. This is, you build this infrastructure, and this infrastructure over the few years that are to come with crypto, AI, virtual reality, and so on. All of this require ton of compute, and the demand for high amount of compute is only going to grow over the coming years. So even if that was a bad idea to invest that much for that, all of those infrastructures that will be built will be used for other things. This is not a waste of money in any way, shape, or form. So that's kind of my point. Then there is the question of, can we expect a market crash? Well, that's a little bit late because the market already crashed a little bit. But first of all, can we expect more crash? And also, why does it crash? Especially Nvidia, which have taken, I believe, the biggest beating. Well, understand something. People have speculated a ton, enormously, about Nvidia and AI. So, how you need to think about how hedge fund and portfolio manager think. They have their portfolio. So they have different type of asset class. Some are more risky than others, and some are less risky than others. Generally, the ones that are riskier are the ones that are more volatile, like the tech company. Tech company are highly volatile, but they provide a lot of value. And so the issue that they had is that this tech that probably at the beginning was only 20% of their portfolio. That's fine. But as the AI boom rose, this 20% became 40%. And the issue that those hedge funds have is now they are overly exposed to big risk. And investors don't like risk. But how can a manager tell to his customer, to his investor, I'm going to sell Nvidia because I think it's overvalued or it's become too risky, when everybody is saying AI is awesome. AI is absolutely awesome. Why would you even consider selling? Are you fucking out of your mind? And so that's kind of the thing here. Even if the hedge fund manager don't think this is a risk for the market, they are going to use this DeepSeek news to rebalance their portfolio to reduce the risk, so they can allocate the profit they made on Nvidia or other AI investments that they've made and redistribute it. And coming back to the normal 20% of exposition that they have on tech company, so they have a portfolio that is less risky and that can grow better over the long run. And that's kind of the idea here. Is DeepSeek a true issue that will crash the stock market or that will break the economy? I don't believe so. But truth is, nobody knows. But the reality is we don't care. Portfolio manager don't care. What they only care is having a portfolio that is well balanced, when risk is well managed. And so they will use any news possible to justify that, pretty much. So that's kind of my take here. Then I want to just introduce you to another aspect, which so pretty much we have seen the whole thing about the situation. I just want to introduce a new perspective about AI that I believe DeepSeek, because that's something that nobody have talked about, and I believe DeepSeek actually proves that we are moving faster in that direction than I think anyone is understanding. That AI now, with the arrival of DeepSeek, has become a commodity. What I mean by that is now you cannot differentiate yourself based on how intelligent your AI is, or the AI you have is. Because for having testing AI, and I'm a former data scientist, I've spent a lot of time thinking and building AI and so on, so I know pretty much a lot about it. I believe that O1 reached the point of diminishing return. What I mean by that is there is very, very, very few people in the world that will benefit from higher level of intelligence that what O1, OpenAI O1 is providing, and which DeepSeek is actually matching. So the real risk that I believe is occurring is we have a model that is pretty much easy to use, especially with NVIDIA. That's why I don't believe NVIDIA is going to crash that much, because they are also, they are producing their new hardware that you can put just on your desktop, and you will be able to run those DeepSeek AIs that will be, so you will have at your hand, without needing internet, AI that will be as powerful as that. And honestly, for 99% of people in the world, you will never need an AI that is more intelligent than that. So pretty much, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yes, this is becoming a commodity, and we are reaching the point of diminishing return. So the real issue now is more understanding how the fact that, okay, if the point is not the AI race anymore, the people, maybe there is some that will need higher intelligence, but for most people that's not really that. The real thing that will differentiate a company compared to another is how well they are able to use those AI, how well they are able to incorporate AI into their whole process, to automate and so on. And I made an entire video about the 7 stages of automation, and I believe that now that we have very high level, very high intelligence model, we can pretty much automate almost everything. So yeah, that's kind of the only thing that I wanted to tell. But this idea of AI becoming a commodity from now on is now a reality, period. So yes, that was my take. So thank you for watching. I hope that's interesting, and I see you next time.